What's up, YouTube? Sean here with Adams Acre Hunting and Hounds. Let's jump into today's topic about field time and how it benefits your dogs. I wanted to do a little touchdown for you guys. I've been pretty busy plowing. We got about 46 inches of snow in the last 3-4 days here in the upper lower Michigan. Just wanted to do a quick video, give you guys some pointers or whatnot. But today's topic is going to be about field time, okay? And what I'm talking about, whether you have a young dog, a trained dog or whatnot, keeping them dogs out in the field, whether it's coon dog, rabbit dog, squirrel dog, whatever type of hunting dog, or even a house dog, right? So what I want to talk about is you guys see with the pups, I go out in a group quite a bit. That's where I'm doing the group work, but there is also solo work that has to be done with those dogs. There's a lot of things that it is a lot harder to train a group of dogs versus one specific dog. And you want to create a good bond and know each dog personally and what that dog is going to do and what to expect from that dog when you take it out. So that's what today is about. I'm not going to make the video too long. I don't want to, bore you guys to death. But it is something I do want to talk about because I do see a lot of guys that will leave their dogs out until they feel like going hunting, and then they take the dog out once a month or once every 3 months or whatnot. And that's not only not good for that dog as in a health-wise, if that dog doesn't have a good area to run and get exercise and everything. But you're also kind of cutting yourself short when it comes to doing that because the potential of that dog is being lowered to, it gets to go out, be rusty every time you hunt. You're knocking the dust off of those dogs. So we'll jump into it, we'll start with the group work. So if you guys see in the videos, when I take the pups out doing group work, the main things I'm doing with those pups are I'm teaching them that they can go, and I'm building that trust with those dogs and letting them know, hey, you can go off, venture off, and when I call you back, I want you to come back. And those older dogs do help with doing that, as long as you have good older dogs, good pup trainers that recall and load up and things like that. With the group, with the group of pups now, I mean, they know what load up is. They all need solo work on actually the loading in the box part. If in some of the videos you'll see the dogs, but they are smaller. Most of my coon dogs will just jump in the box. So with group work, what I'm doing is I'm building that confidence in that dog to go out. I'm getting it used to pack hunting with other dogs, and I'm seeing what dog's doing what dog I need to do what work with, and it's really just they hunt as a pack. That's how I want them to learn majority of things. But then you have you don't want your dog me too, and you don't want to, back up tracking and things like that, just barking to bark basically. So that's where the solo comes into play. So with solo working, so things like your basic recall commands I can do as a group, as you guys see in the videos. When I recall, they come back, and that's off of verbal. Is the tone breaking and things like that. It's a lot harder to train a litter of puppies all at the same time to be tone broke or break them of bad habits and things. So that's where the solo comes in. And you also want to know that your dog is tracking and opening up and doing the things that you want it to do by itself individually as a hound for that individual dog. All of my older dogs will solo hunt. You go out, they're going to jump and run a rabbit, and they just do it better with a group. So, and I keep it that way. I don't like dogs that just jump in the hunt and when they hear a dog barking and get on it that way. I'd rather have every dog I have in that pack to offer something. And with that said, that's the next thing with solo is I'll take them out and solo them, whether it's a coon dog or rabbit dog, and that's where I do the repetitive loading and load up and go to another spot and drop and load up and go to another spot, because I'm getting that dog repetitive, teaching it how I'm going to handle it, and I'm learning how that dog's going to handle, and I'm learning that dog's bark, its strike, what it sounds like when it strikes, what it sounds like when it tracks, what it sounds like when it trees, or what it sounds like when it jumps a rabbit, and things of that nature. So there is a lot of solo work that goes into that thing, guys, but I cannot express enough on how important field time is on all dogs, whether it's a puppy that you're just starting out. Once that dog shows a good potential or starts showing that it knows what you're wanting it to do, get it in the field and hunt it. If it's a coon dog, get it out and hunt it. Now, here's the thing. You can use it as your advantage, and this is why I started at a young age with my dogs. Good field time and getting those pups out there with field time is a really good time for you to work on the problems with running trash or just picking up bad habits and things of that nature, and you can get ahead of it before it gets too bad. I've seen too many times where guys will get their dog started and they'll take it out once a week and drop it and load up and go home, and they feel comfortable with that, which in that sense there is, you can do that, but I personally, in my experiences, you're limiting that dog on its capabilities. There's a limit of time where that dog's head is like a sponge, just like a toddler. Its brain is just a sponge at certain times. And being repetitive with your hounds is a very, very, very good way to teach that dog good obedience, good handling, loading up, and for you to create a bond with that dog that is every time you're hunting it, that dog knows what you like, knows how you're feeling, you know what that dog likes, what it's doing, and you over time. So field time, that's the reason it's so important. But things like, I've had a lot of guys when we'll pull in to run dogs and they'll see a deer in the field or a possum on the edge of a cornfield or somewhere that we're hunting, they'll see a possum in a tree line. And they're like, oh, let's get out of here. We don't want to drop the dogs here. I don't want them getting into that. And if I'm training a dog, it's a lot different. I'm like, no, I'm letting it out, because if there's a deer 100 yards out in the field and that dog runs straight out there and strikes up on that, where that deer was at, or chases after that deer, it gives me the chance to tone it and then shock it. Because, 15 years ago when I started training dogs, we didn't have shock collars, GPS, whatnot. They existed, but we were poor. We didn't need it. I learned how to train dogs without it. Did just fine. The difference is we used a rope, a big 200-foot rope, and you let that dog out, and when it get going, you jerk on it, and when it get on some trash when it's a puppy, and that's where I learned to do it when they are younger. You get ahead of it a lot quicker, and versus it forming that habit over time, you just do away with it, and it learns at an early age, and it's like, nope, that last time I smelled that, I got popped a good one, Last time I messed with that possum, I got in trouble. So use it as an advantage. It can be a very good tool. At any point in time, if you pull into a spot and there is deer, if you have confidence in that dog, because you've done these things, you're going to have a lot better experience hunting. That way, when you pull in and everybody in the truck wants to leave their dogs in the truck, and you're like, I'm fine. When you go and your dog don't mess with a deer or a squirrel or a rabbit or whatever it is that the off game you don't want it running, because you took the time out in the field time to learn that dog and do that and get ahead of it. So like things like that is just, it's almost a controlled environment, because like, okay, I see this here, I know where it was at, where it went, I visibly watched this, so if that dog starts messing around over there doing the wrong thing, we're going to discipline it. So use your common everyday things that you learn in the field, that you can experience in the field as teaching tools, and that's one of the things, piece of advice that I can give you guys to test with, because it definitely help you trash break them dogs, and get ahead of any habits that they can form, any bad habits they can form before they get too old, or before they learn it over time and you didn't catch it because they were 200 yards away in the wood and you thought they were opening up on a rabbit or they were opening up on a coon or whatnot, and it ended up being a deer or a coon dog running a rabbit or whatnot, so just, that's what this video is about, guys, is, solo work and group work, and, whether it's pairs or 8-10 dogs for group work, or any way like that, coon dogs, rabbit dogs, whatever you're training, field time is the best thing for a hound, hands down in training. The more you get it out there and you're repetitive with that hound, and the more you learn that hound and how it handles, and how it minds you, you look that much better when you go out with a group of guys and they got their dogs and you got yours, and their dogs have sat in the kennels for 3 months, and they waited till they were ready to go hunting, and you've been taking your dogs out. And that's where this part comes into play, is a lot of guys only want to take their dogs when they want to go hunting. Your dogs are, a job. A lot of times I'm going hunting just because those dogs need to get out and they need to be ran and they need the exercise, and I want to keep them dogs in shape, but Till next time, guys. Hey, guys, like and subscribe if you want to see more of our content. Click that notification bar so you get notified. See you next time, guys, here at Adams Acres Hunting and Hounds.